signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Minutes from last week,
Move they be approved.
any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Communication. And don't forget we're canvassing the election. Okay,
13.
Wednesday at 1.
Yeah, that's good one.
Make sure we have a quorum for that. Communications, anybody? Yeah, disaster services this week. Really not a lot going on there. They got a grant to get into, they're resurrecting our dive team. We used to have one dive team.
I was just questioning what the type of equipment we're
It's
buying.
getting
We had-
expensive.
We have new
Yeah,
divers.
for it.
Okay.
We do, we've got new divers. They all passed the first test the other day.
Did you find the ones that didn't?
The guys that passed it, you really don't find them.
They had to swim a long way and they weren't real happy about it. But, Rob Rotter was he got the best time.
Oh, he's a diver?
Yeah, but he was eating my time, so. He's a cheater from way back.
Electra, my officer, she's a diver, she's.
So what did they test at?
Where, they're using natural,
I just believe like a higher weight.
I used to go to Corey's.
so, yeah, I mean, they will, but,
This is awful.
so that's been in the works for us. But yeah, it's paid for by grant, so.
Put on like, they spend all the stuff that we were.
Yeah.
So it's just like. take a few
Yeah, we're doing a
questions.
budget amendment, to, put it all back in, got that, and the trailer for it, they got the grant through the community foundation.
We needed another trailer.
Now we need to shed it all the trailers in.
Is it all motorcycle?
Other than that, there was some discussion about a grant for the, storm sirens. Some people on Amano want sirens put over there, but
46,000?
that would be just the match.
Right.
The whole project's like $181,000.
Especially when you pull it, goes in with the AQ.
But like Parnell was putting a siren in, but there's a nuclear facility somewhere that closed, so there's a bunch of sirens. And as soon as Dwayne Arnold closes, there'll probably be a bunch more, because they've got sirens everywhere up there,
Yeah.
around, I mean, hundreds.
Just you can hear.
And, you know, the counties will try to keep some of them, but, so there's gonna be some used ones for sale that might be repurposed to some of our unincorporated areas if we say. And like, I was getting one, who wants to get one.
So if you, this is a tornado, can you opt out of getting it on your phone, or does it just show up anyhow?
Tornado,
Yeah, our storms.
you can opt out of your phone. The only thing you can't opt out of is presidential declarations.
I mean, that's the country.
And that was one thing brought up by one of the mayors who was there, was for the cost of a siren, you could buy everybody a weather radio for their house, and had a lot of money left over. And sirens are made for outdoor warning, not indoor warning, so.
Right.
You have a better chance of hearing this radio by your bed than you would be the siren outside.
I probably wouldn't hear ours in my bedroom, and it's right across the street from us. So, that was really about it. They changed the rules for disaster services last year, they have to be coordinated now. So you have to meet even if you really got nothing to talk about, so.
We never spent money, all right?
No, I think that's it for that. Anybody else have any
there's no water in those holes because that's all built up so high.
Yeah,
But they said over on the Hilton,
yeah,
they had trouble with the signs caving in and they had to box in because,
it was low, yeah,
well, it's sand.
and the water was flowing.
Yeah, it's
Sand and water under Marengo, huh?
It's true.
Never heard of it.
So if they have any more troubles, then you call us, since you didn't call me back.
That was great. At least he's there,
Yeah, no, at least some of it's started.
right?
Once he started, I think when he finishes, he gets paid.
Yes.
Any other communications from anybody?
Probably going to, haven't met yet, Iowa Works is meeting in Iowa City this afternoon. And I think it's gonna be pretty complicated, they're gonna chop all these districts down into like 5 or 6. I'm not quite sure how they're gonna do
They're
it.
kind of restructuring that, or they have in the last couple of years.
Yeah, they said they were not in compliance with federal rules, and they were kind of written up for that 2 or 3 years ago. And some people that are like this, heads of these districts now are gonna lose their jobs, and I don't know how they're gonna combine it all. They're adding more counties per districts.
Yeah. I know they used to have like a computer over in the courthouse that people could use, and one in Marengo, or in Williamsburg Library, but
You ever get that?
I don't know how much.
They're gonna kind of reduce the roles of people like Berkeley College, and they're gonna have to rebid who runs all these Iowa Work Center for people looking for employment. It's gonna be a gigantic thing. They think they can get it all done in 6 to 12 months, but I don't know how they're gonna be able to do it.
I would have thought working through the community colleges would be the best way to do it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a lot. It's not that they can't, they have to redo it.
But it seems to be headed away from that with.
They have to create all new boards with like 21 people on each board. There's all these demographics, there has to be so many Republicans, so many Democrats, so many business owners.
Particularly in.
It's gonna be how to match it, figure out board members, gonna be very good.
Sounds kind of like a mental health thing. Things are working so well, so let's miss that.
Let's change all the criteria, yeah. Let's see.
So that means somebody was being a major fit there, because our mental health was working.
Any other communications? Open forum, anybody have anything for open forum this morning? Denise?
In the Diamond Trail Agreement, there's a 3-mile setback for FFA registered airports. And Mid-American filed for their permits in Iowa County where pilots, not in Iowa County where pilots would logically be looking for them, but in Johnson County where people would be less likely to notice them. And in the first draft of Ordinance 32, there was a 3-mile setback for FAA registered airports. That ordinance failed after Mid-American and Energy claimed the setback distance from non-participants' homes would prevent them from building more industrial wind turbines in Iowa County. And a few weeks back, one of you made the comment, seems we have a registered airport in our county now. And a concerned citizen brought up that law enforcement officers had sent letters by registered mail to the supervisors concerning that airport and their use of it. Now this draft of Ordinance 32 suddenly has no protection for airports. And obviously a 650-foot tall industrial wind turbine next to an airport would create a traffic hazard. That's just plain common sense. It seems a clear case of retaliation and a political abuse of power that a 3-mile setback for airports has been left out of this draft of Ordinance 32. And even if you carry out your threat and don't pass the ordinance to protect people of Iowa County, airports will still have no protection. And so I'm continuing to ask what I asked for from the beginning, to have an ordinance based on science, not politics. And so I'm asking you, what is the science behind legal protection for airports out of the proposed Ordinance 32? And please don't tell me it was a clerical error, because we ain't falling for that one again.
Well, I don't know why it was taken out because I wasn't part of that, but the logical answer is airports are regulated by FAA, not counties. And we have 3 registered airports in Iowa County.
It was in the Diamond Trail Agreement, and it was in the first proposed ordinance. Now all of a sudden, it's left out after my neighbor gets his airport registered. Just seems a little bit obvious that something's going on there.
Like I said, there's 3 airports in the county.
All right, well, why don't you wanna protect them then?
The FAA protects airports.
Now, that's the
That's their
same,
job. We
that's
have no
the same
authority over
stuff you
airports.
gave us with the Eagles. And besides that, Ray, you're not even supposed to, I'm asking John and Kevin, because they're the ones that
First of all, you
obviously
don't get to
have
pick
that.
who you ask the
They're
question.
FFA regulated.
And secondly, I made the
It's true.
statement that I was
And-
not part of it, but it makes sense that it's an FAA
And the
regulated.
first ordinance did not get voted down because Invenergy wanted it. It's, you guys wanted it voted down. We went with, so don't state it that way.
Okay, my reasons for wanting it voted down were a lot different than Mid-Americans and Invenergy's. And it seems awfully odd if the FAA registers them and they're in charge, but why was it in the Diamond Trail Agreement and why was it in the first ordinance? And then all of a sudden, once somebody gets their airport registered, it's left out. I mean, that's pretty obvious. It's more than just, we don't have to do it because the FFA does.
FAA.
It's a political retribution. It's pretty obvious. That's exactly what it is. And I'd like to know why it was taken out. What's the science behind taking it out?
Because it's not an instrument airport,
Why was it in the first 2 then, John?
because that was Mid-American's language.
In the ordinance, the first draft of the ordinance, that was Mid-American's
That's
language?
where those setbacks, some of those setbacks came from, yeah.
And so why was it left out this time if you felt it was,
Because it's not necessary.
so why was it necessary in the first one?
I overlooked it.
Oh, gee.
And so when I talked to a flight safety officer, he informed me that if it's a visual airport, the object of a visual airport is to see and avoid all objects.
So FFA prohibits industrial wind turbines within 3 miles of an FFA registered airport. Is that what you're saying?
You'll have to clarify with the FAA.
You didn't look into that?
I spoke to somebody that's an expert in flight safety.
And they said that there's a 3-mile setback from industrial wind turbines from an
I've never heard
FAA
that.
registered airport.
I didn't hear him say that.
There's air bases all over the United States that have 1,000-foot towers. There's a 1,000-foot tower on Homestead.
There have been industrial wind farms that have been denied because they were close to airports.
And that would be up to the FAA.
No, then it's up to you guys to protect the citizens of this county. Those airports are being used by law enforcement. That is for the protection of this entire county, including you people, and us people, and all the people in Iowa County. It's a protection issue, and it shouldn't be used as a political football.
I disagree.
I'm not seeing where politics came into it, I'm sorry.
Had nothing
No way that's
had nothing to do with it.
I think
And
it's
public
pretty,
safety, I don't care about, yeah, I've only spent 40 years in public safety, I think I care about it. So, I'm not sure why you think there's some personal retribution here, because who would it be against?
it seems pretty obvious there was, when it was in the Diamond Trail Agreement, it was in the first draft of the ordinance, all of a sudden somebody brings up that, oh, we have a registered airport in Iowa County now. Guess what? In the next ordinance, it's not in there anymore. It seems illogical. Something happened that it was not included. And it's more than just the FFA or FAA, because the FAA regulated them in the first 2 instances. Now, all of a sudden, in the 3rd instance, it's not in there.
It's not necessary.
I think the protection of the citizens of Iowa County is necessary. Whatever needs to be done to protect the citizens of Iowa County, that's what the state has entitled you to do. I think it's necessary. That's what you've been empowered to do.
And that's your opinion. That you think it's necessary.
Okay, that's fine. If you don't think it's necessary to protect the people of Iowa County, and I guess that's what
Well,
it is.
see, it's,
Has nothing to do with protecting the people of Iowa County.
Then why would it hurt to put it in?
Then why does it need to be in there?
It's the same thing we went through with why the Eagles need to be protected. Because it's all based on, unless the FAA has a specific ordinance that says there will be a law, that there will be a 3-mile setback from a 650-foot industrial wind turbine, then it would behoove you to protect the citizens of Iowa County by putting that in the ordinance when it was in the first draft and in the Diamond Trail Agreement. There's no reason not to put it in.
My understanding is the FAA approves every windmill site.
Right?
Whether they do or not, you have the power to protect the citizens of Iowa County. That was in the Diamond Trail Agreement and the first draft of the ordinance, and it should have been left in and put in the third one. There's no reason for it not to be, unless there was some political reason for you not to.
And what would that political reason be?
You
keep
tell
saying
me.
political reason, I'd
You
like to know
tell
what,
me.
I can't fathom what it would be.
Then
But
why isn't it in there?
I knew it wasn't in there at the same time you knew it wasn't in there, so. But I can't fathom what a political reason would be. Anyone?
No, there wasn't any.
Then what was the reason?
I just told you, it wasn't necessary.
Why was it necessary in the Diamond Trail and in the first draft of the
It
ordinance?
wasn't necessary in the first one.
It's not necessary in the first one.
But you put it in there.
And we took it out of the second
And we
because it
took
wasn't
it out because it
necessary.
wasn't necessary.
All sites have to be approved by FAA.
And they have a law that says there has to be 3 mile setback.
They have their
They
regulations.
have their regulations, and that's up to them.
And they have regulations that are set up to show you what is agreeable to them, and you don't have to honor them unless you want to.
We don't get to tell the federal government
They,
what to
they,
do.
they have to approve each windmill site, is
If
my
that was the case, there would be no airports in big cities. Because there's really big buildings around all those airports.
Like you said, there's a 1,000-foot tower over by Amana.
My homestead, that I'm sure is probably not 3 miles from that airport.
And you think that that doesn't bother you that there's gonna be 78, 200, possibly up to 200 wind turbines, 650 foot tall, close to airports. You don't see that as a safety hazard.
I think that the pilot can see them, he can avoid them. That's the point of a VFR airport, is see and avoid.
So why are there any laws at all then, John? Just let them fly wherever they want, put up whatever they want, wherever they want.
Good, we agree on something.
That's the rulings that FAA regulates. That's why all those sites had to be approved.
It still doesn't make any sense that it was in the Diamond Trail Agreement, it was in the first draft, now all of a sudden, once we get a new registered airport, it's taken out. I mean, we'll let people decide for themselves.
Yes.
Any other open forum items?
I had something to say real quick.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, do you guys know what the 4-H motto is? Like, you should know what the 4-H motto is. Do you remember it?
Well, why is this relevant?
I'll get to the point.
Okay.
But, do you guys remember the 4-H motto?
Mhm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Dead hand, heart, health, that one?
No, that's the pledge. The motto is to make the best better. So wouldn't you agree that's a pretty good, just kind of, something to constantly be doing in your life is to make the best better.
Mhm.
So basically what my point is I would like, will you, each of you, give me an example of how wind turbines make Iowa County a better place? Vicki, do you want to start?
Yes, I will. I went to the REC breakfast, and I think it's necessary because they said by 2023 we would be 53% wind.
Hmm.
So you want to live like they do with no electricity?
Well, but the electricity these wind turbines are producing go to Chicago.
That's not what she said.
I don't
Oh.
know where
And we're
anybody
not
got
gonna
that.
debate it.
Yeah.
It's just a question we're gonna
No.
answer.
It's not
Yep.
what Sarah
I don't want to
When
debate.
once energy hits
Vicky
the grid,
answered. John,
no
do
one
you want
knows
to
where it
give me an
goes.
Yes, I think
It
it
is
allows
not
some
traceable.
farmers the
No one knows
opportunity
where
to
it goes.
continue farming if they want to.
That's true.
And that's their choice.
The only way energy was going to Chicago was this Green Line DC power lines that were talked about going through Iowa that have nothing to do with this.
She
and
said
they
when
didn't
it
have
gets
help.
on the grid, it can go
It hits the
anywhere.
grid here, it goes to the nearest place it's needed. So it could very well go to here, to Iowa City, to the Amanas, everywhere.
Okay.
So to say it goes to Chicago is not correct.
And to
Alright,
say
I'm-
that I'm anti-4-H is just wrong.
I wasn't saying. I was just wondering if
But
you
I was
remembered it.
saying that if it obviously makes it so that a young person can farm, because they have that extra income, it's no different than a hog barn. That's how a lot of young farmers get into farming, is because they have a hog barn that helps support their income and gives them something to do that's consistent.
All right then. Ray, do you want to give me your example of how wind
I don't know, am
turbines?
I supposed to talk about windmills or not? I keep being told
Oh.
not. Denise?
Okay, fine. I'll pass you. Kevin?
I will, if you have a windmill farm on your farm and you sell it, it raises the value of the land, because you're guaranteed income on the farm. There's studies, I got studies and surveys that went on.
Okay then. Bruce?
I don't think it's our job to decide what people should like or not like. There's always gonna be huge divisions of opinion on that, as we've seen in all the hearings. But I think there's a lot of advantages to it. I mean, the energy requirements are growing, so are you gonna want coal, fired or oil fired, utility plants or nuclear? I just believe that the wind energy, as useful as it is, it'll never be 100%. Is the best way to go. And I'm not pushing it, I just think people should be allowed to have it on their property. It's our job to see, that's why there's an ordinance discussion again, what restrictions and setbacks there should be.
Okay then. Thank you.
Any other open forum?
Yes, I actually have a few questions. Vicky, who persuaded you to believe that wind turbines are good for our county?
Nobody persuaded me. I have a feeling that I think they are fine.
Okay, thank you. Bruce, what facts persuaded you to believe that wind turbines are good for our county?
No particular individual or anything. I kind of just stated, I think it's a good way to increase our electrical power in Iowa. It's just my personal belief based on, believe me, every week we get pluses and minuses, emails, conversations. People stop me in Dollar General till I couldn't get out of Casey's the other day before two people told me what they thought, which is fine. They have every right to do that. But it's not one particular person. I believe it's a good way to go. Governor Reynolds has fully supported it. I think it's good to get away from the coal and oil generated electricity, which causes a whole different set of problems.
Okay, thank you. Ray, when did you first hear about the Diamond Trail project?
I'm not answering windmill questions apparently.
Okay.
When did I first hear about it? When they came to a board meeting here was the first any of us heard about it.
Okay. John, why did you choose to believe the wind energy company's information?
Who said I believe their information?
Kevin, how do wind turbines improve Iowa County?
It makes a lot of farmers be more viable, to be able to survive with the extra income that's gonna give to them.
Thank you. John, what will Iowa County achieve by having these wind turbines?
That's not up to me, that's up to the individual homeowner.
What do you think Iowa County will achieve?
I don't have any set goals for it.
All right. And my last question, are you excited? Excited for me to come back every week asking for a moratorium? Just a little heads up.
Absolutely. I would be thrilled to see you.
We like having people here.
That's right.
Well, then we'll just keep coming back.
You're more than welcome. That's why there's chairs out there.
If we know we're welcome, we'll
You're
just
always
keep
welcome.
coming back. I haven't got anything to do on Friday mornings,
That's awesome.
unless I have a doctor's appointment.
This is a great civics class.
Just like going to civics
I
class,
always
right?
ask that.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
We've, been here for decades.
have an electric line easement with Interstate Power and Light Company. They're putting a junction box for their underground out in this corner of this property.
So it's right here, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's on this property, it's just a junction box. They're putting a lot of their, power underground in Rango.
That's what I thought, like having a whole being over here.
Better known as a lion.
Yeah.
They stick with that name, Interstate Power Line.
I know,
Interstate Power and Light is their legal name.
yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So you watch me sign that? Yep. We don't have any liquor licenses or anything, do we? Go on. All right, yeah. Hey, you got it. You want yours?
Good job. Casino I kept here 56. There's still apartments on the building.
That's the way I like it.
And somebody, oh wait, somebody said it's 50 cents.
Not yet.
So that just means we have half the old building, right?
Yes. Somehow on all of it, when it's half demolished or something, it has to be hauled away.
Yeah.
Water hazardous waste.
Nobody else does, so we have to pay for it.
That will be the case.
I think the deed's got our names on it.
Thank God.
Did you talk to Nick about that thing the other day, or? Did you call me about it? Your road?
Oh. I don't know what I got.
Secondary roads must not be working today, right? I mean, I'm assuming Nick's coming, but there wasn't any vehicles at two of the shops that went by.
They were down at the shop, main shop, and I came.
Was Very good.
Yeah, the gates were open at the interstate anyway. Well, it was a car coming
Yeah.
out.
I was monitoring any vehicles, maybe at the door, so maybe they're just
They
taking
had
it
a
off.
meeting or something.
Good.
And ask that.
Already?
Sorry.
Nice to meet
We
you.
got 28 seconds to go. Actually,
Right on time.
You're really good.
You have your safety colors on, that's all that matters.
Yep.
We know you walked here safely.
No, that was really good.
No protection, ear protection.
No, this is, it's actually really a warm day.
Really showed
Oh,
that.
Jack.
Thank you.
I was on the phone with the windmill people, they're gonna be wrapping up their cores on Monday or Tuesday, I believe, so.
So they'll be done for the year.
They'll be hauling a little bit more on B Avenue, I think, but, so as soon as we get a little bit of moisture, they're gonna drop a few more loads of rock for us, and then, all depending on the weather, we're gonna meet up Tuesday to see if we can't maybe do some patching on H Avenue, split it with them or something, if the weather turns nice and we can get a good price, and if Iowa Civil is still, if they're still going.
How cold's it gonna be if they shut that down?
It's,
Zero?
no, that's way too cold, I would think. You know, usually 32, there's 40 and rising, but then they can take, you know, other measures. You can get different types of concrete or the blankets or the heated blankets or,
Hot mix,
huh?
a little hot mix.
Something, yeah, there's different ways,
Mm,
so, um,
water heated.
yeah. And so, you know, and even if you do put stuff like that down, it may crack in the future, but it's
Right.
at the same time, you gotta outweigh that by letting it go all winter, so. um, Yeah, we'll kinda have to watch. I hope that the weather, we get a few good days in there, and I hope that they're available, so. The bridge out north of town, they poured some guardrail this week. We are now into the late days. The charge for that is $1,000 a day, so I think we're on day 4 right now.
Take your time.
And then, they do not get free winter working days after, November 15th. So as long as the weather is good and they can do the prevailing job at hand, they will be charged a day. So,
So like November 15th of magic day, is
yes.
the weather's bad?
No, usually after that, they can, shut down for the year and they don't have to really come back until April 1st.
So then we don't have to pay the $1,000 anymore.
But that doesn't apply to this one. Yeah. We gave them free winter working days in the spring because the bridge was closed. They didn't take advantage of it, but there's no free winter working days this winter, so. Our road maintenance today, we're kind of moving some salt and sand, mixing it and moving it. Earlier this week, Timmy D fixed a scour hole on F-15, did some re-ditching of it. It was kind of starting to eat out against the road. We did a lot of cold patching, a lot of grading, also, it was a good week to drag. We had good moisture earlier in the week, and then I know a lot of guys kind of lost their windrows too. We did fix the cold patching on H Avenue, and we fixed the guardrail around the bridge next to the county home. John and Dave have both been doing throwbacks, so, and I know that, Slay he's on his horse right now, trying to line up all those, so. It was a lot better when you can just turn the backhoe and throw it into a field versus hauling it away.
Yeah.
Probably go 3 times faster and with a third of the people, so. And then I believe we did get the riprap moved to the county home, he said.
Okay. I haven't been by there then.
Yeah. I just kept telling him to do it, and I haven't. As far as the office work goes, I believe F-52 Pelling did come in and they finished patching that, so, you know, it's better. Some spots are still a little, they're not,
It's not a new highway,
it's
but
not
it
new
is a lot
highway,
better.
but it's a lot better.
What's
Yes,
it like,
it is.
is it better by Maxwell's now?
Oh, they worked up there, yeah, I mean, it is better.
Yeah.
The bridges, they're kind of like where the bridges are, they're kind of.
Yeah, so we'll get that with the total patcher next spring. That piece of equipment that we wanna buy,
Yeah,
we'll build it up with that. And then also just west of there, the road, it's kinda slumped off, you know, it's not dangerous, but we'll fill all that in with the total patcher too. That should be way less than paying $155 a square yard.
right.
Or Kim Jones or Maxwell?
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean? There's right where the bins are, there's a deal.
I mean, they tried working there, I'm not, there was several
It's
places.
better.
There was a lot of, I think it's a lot better,
It's one of those you really can't see till you hit it.
yeah.
And I tried to take it fast to see how bad they were, but there were still people patching, so I was leaving in and out of them. So I haven't given it the final ride after they've been gone, but it should be better, especially for the money that we paid. We did move a bunch of dirt underneath the guardrail on the Marengo Bridge. That was one of the checklists that we had to do for the project last year. So, I took some of the office guys out there Wednesday and we did that.
This big bridge out here,
And
dirt up here?
we removed the dirt underneath the guardrail. The guardrail, the top of the guardrail was only at 25 inches and needed to be 27.5.
Oh, something huge right there.
So Slay brought the skid loader out and me and the techs were out there with the rakes. We got it all, it's a couple hours, nothing much. Writing up the tandem truck specs today. Also working with the shop to, the 2 Freightliners that we bought before, we are gonna start taking them up to Waterloo instead of Cedar Rapids. Not,
Getting better service up there.
we're gonna hope.
So are you taking, like, a pass as driver's input on any of that or not?
They both want manual transmissions.
Which are cheaper?
Maybe, I don't know. Because, they may be cheaper, they may not be. George was the one that talked to,
I thought they were $13,000 cheaper.
could be, but also they're not, as popular now. So they could be, but I don't wanna give you a definitive.
Like air conditioning, used to cost to put it in, not cost to take it out.
Yeah, if you want your pickup, your personal pickup to be a manual, it's probably more expensive just because it's not more. So I don't know to give you the answer.
How many automatics do we have, most of them now? Just switch it up.
No, I think only the last two Freightliners. Cause the 2 before that were the 13 speeds, but they said, hey, at that point, they're becoming, less and less popular, so. But, that's what they want, we'll spec it out, we'll see what they cost. Been doing some shoulder patching too. And I know, one spot on B77, we actually put a cold patch in for the shoulders down there. And then I submitted the application for N Avenue to the RCAT committee, going from 3 Mile Corner down to Butler Hill in the summer of 21. So the summer of 20 is Keswick Road, the summer of 21 is the 4.7 miles from 3 Mile Corner down to Butler Hill. Estimated 4.7 miles, estimated cost of 2 to 2.25 million.
Maybe it's like the overlays they've been doing.
Yeah. We'll probably not widen the road, keep it 11-foot lanes, and then also we're not gonna tile it, so.
It's not bad. I mean,
You can if you want, but we're also, if we do that, that means that like, at one point, you're gonna have a year where we don't do any paving.
Right,
We keep doing.
but the ditches are pretty big on that, anyway, that's all.
right, and you can try to widen it, won't that last foot, whatever, just break off, because there's not as much base.
No, you would probably core it out, put down, and then we'll make an extra run of asphalt, 4 to 6 inches deep and a foot wide. And, so you core it out, take that dirt, haul it away, come put the new asphalt in and let it settle for a week or so, do that to both sides.
That would add a lot to it.
Well, as long as you address the shoulders when you're doing
It would add enough.
you'll be,
Yeah, there'll be, your new shoulders, it's 5 foot,
right,
shoulder arcs, and then we usually spray, and so they should stay better too, because we'll have that safety edge, we put the safety edge on, the 30-degree angle, And so not only is it safer for the cars to go up, off and on, but that, friction there between them and the rock, it actually holds it better. We've had pretty good results. And then we'll spray it even ourselves with a little bit of, calcium and maybe try to hold it. Who knows what that does, but
That
that's
stays
cheap.
pretty good.
But it's cheap, so, 50 cents a gallon.
That's basically,
So.
some people use for dust control,
Mm-hmm.
and it stays year after year.
So we'll probably do like the inner layer and 3 inches on top of that. The following year, I think we're gonna do H Avenue, a part of it, and we'll probably do that. We've been doing inner layering for 5 inches, we've been giving everything Cadillac versions. This next one will be a nice version. After that, it might be more of what the DOT does, you know, just 3 inches here, 3 inches there.
Is that similar to work you did around Millersburg?
On M Avenue, yeah, it'll be similar, except there will not be, we won't tile. And there we did 5.5 inches of asphalt. Here we'll probably do 4.5 inches. There we put down a scratch layer and then the inner layer. Here, we probably will just go straight inner layer and then 3 inches on top of it.
Because we got a better base.
Just because we don't want to have the money. So you do this, the scratch lift, that gives you a little bit of a bond breaker between there and then the inner layer. And it gives everything smooth. So then the inner layer, you actually get, it's more expensive, but you only do 1 inch then, and you're guaranteed 1 inch. And you still have movable pavements on either side. Well, this one, we're gonna cut out that scratch lift. If we gotta pay for 1.25 inches, we'll do it. And it's actually made to go on the concrete, so we're gonna give it a whirl. I mean, the best part is, you know, if it doesn't, say if you get 20 years out of it instead of 15, you can always just go back, nail off 2 inches and put that, they're getting better with that, so you can put the hydro.
Put back on top of it.
So these are gonna be expensive versions, but when you come back in the future, the cost, all in today's terms, is 1/4 of the price.
Well, they may have something better in 15 years anyway, that we can,
They're changing it all the time, just to,
more plasticity in it.
so. Yep, we got that submitted, and, yep, no work, Monday, right?
Is the Millersburg and Ladora shops closed today? I mean, is there anybody, there wasn't any vehicles in either one of them when I came by.
We have a total of 8 to 10 people here today.
Okay, so most of them, yeah.
Everybody gone.
That makes sense, take a
Is it
long
hunting
weekend
season?
for that.
Hunting season?
Crops, hunting,
Okay.
If no snow on the road, it's a good day for me.
It's good, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They worked enough last week anyway.
Bare bones, and
I
then,
knew it wasn't Christmas, you know, it wasn't like Memorial Day where
No.
they were getting their Christmas Eve, you know.
I was gonna say, Christmas Eve, they do Christmas Eve over here.
no, there is hardly anybody here.
Is everybody doing all right for running up their time?
Yeah, I would think so. I haven't kept track of all the comp time. Slaves through the roof, I know that, but,
Did you wanna tell the story you told me that Wade didn't return my call?
he's giving me crap. I wasn't returning his phone calls, so I had misplaced my phone for a couple days. Turns out it was in the toy box.
Had it run down.
So we had a new assistant.
You hear a 2-year-old answer. And Grandma and Grandpa had given the girls their old phones, for play phones. Well, they must have
Like, just like another plane.
Yeah. Put it together.
I thought that was good.
At least they didn't throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
The kids ordered 2 more tandem trucks.
Well, we found it.
I can relate to that so much.
Did you get him a clapper for it?
Don't you guys have Find My iPhone?
Yeah, I do.
It's on my phone.
And it's a beep. Your kids' phones should do it.
Yes.
I have that on my
Working
personal.
your Apple Watch.
Right.
We did that one time. Ethan's phone, he lost it. Instead it was out in the middle of the field, like 2 miles away. It was in the same building we were at. We had it. It was like.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a while to pinpoint down.
Tin building threw it off, or.
First summer I was here, I lost my phone baling straw at Ronnie Blatz.
In the mail.
He gave it back to me a year and a half later.
Battery dead?
Mine in the backyard.
And it turned on and worked fine.
Wow.
Just didn't have that same service anymore. But I got all my contacts on it.
They switched it all.
Outside and everything.
Yeah, well, I'll just strap tighten the bail, so it was protected
I
from
was
the
thinking,
weather.
hunting one time, they found it the next year. We hid it out there, so you
I
can,
was
well, I
kidding.
don't know. Anything else? Anything else for me?
Nope.
Thanks, Nick. I texted Scotty, we were ahead of schedule. Guess we'll take a break till Scott gets here.
Awesome.
There was Stannis.
Oh, yeah.
Or not, just ask.
Were there reasons that time?
I don't know, it was right there in the driveway, so I figured.
Next to the courthouse, the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
Was that what it was? I just turned around.
Some of us get that water from running in the basement.
Yeah,
Water was digging a big hole underneath the sidewalk.
over there on the west or south side.
Yeah.
There's no water in this town.
This town is water.
So.
Oh,
yeah.
I looked at that and I looked at it again.
You know, it's so funny because there are so many Susan Turtles. And I'm trying to think how many of them are artists and writers.
You're the only one we like.
Huh?
You're the only one we like.
Awesome, thank you. I go by Susie, but I gotta differentiate myself.
Yeah, no, it's just
Stand up strong.
I looked it up.
Over in Scotland, the name Turnbull is pretty much the same as how we have Smith and Jones. And
Oh, really?
yeah, so like every other person is named Turnbull.
I thought that's just what farmers say.
That's what the name originated.
Is it?
Yeah,
Turner's Bolts.
we say it became some
Was it
guy.
worth it? Was it worth it?
They started out as rules. You know how Scottish lands are. And then, one day the king was like in a procession down the street, and this guy, a bull, got loose and started charging towards the king. The guy jumped out into the street, flipped the bull around, and it went the other direction and saved the king. So therefore, they brought him in Turnbull.
Sure, you're not gonna go.
They don't really let you really get that lifestyle. Is that right? It may or may not be Biff, you don't know. But it's on like the coat of arms.
It's a good bar story anyway.
Yeah. And so, my friends have never done these, my friends must have been there to the lane. And we were border dwellers.
Okay, that sounds
And,
interesting.
uh,
he was mad, and he's like, it says you were victorious and was bad and Russell, so now we understand you.
Still carrying the tradition.
And the same place that they were originated. That was my year obsession with border collies.
You're down to roll.
You're gonna get into more than the casket. Exactly. So I'll tell you an example. Let me see, buying a train set. It's a small shop.
That's right, Sharice.
The neighbor will say how they got figures on it. And he thought it was wonderful, he could push my little brother to one around wherever he wanted to. And Ronnie never got over it. miserable as it's got.
This was kind of funny.
So I've
because I
never
could
let it bother me.
really-
I just visited with friends, and if I needed something, I still know I could call them up and ask them for help.
How many years?
Or if they called me, I'd do whatever I could to help them out. I don't care how minimal or maximum that is. That's just the way I feel about them. And I feel that way about a lot of people. Carol.
Well, it's like these people have no reason to treat people the way they do. No, there's no reason to be condescending and patronizing. And just, they do have the power. Everybody knows it. They got pros on the show.
Well, the
And
prime
it's like,
is
what's the point?
the prime is the big difference.
Exactly, exactly.
There's no excuse for that.
Well, Holbrook, Victor, and Parnell asked and asked, they did the best they could, and to sit there and lord your power over them. and force them. That's right,
What's gonna cost.
That's
us
right.
money. And this way, what they're looking for is if they don't go out, they get less money, less money they get.
Right.
That's all we're thinking.
It's hard to get them to, you can explain it to them, but you can't understand it for them. And it's hard to get them to understand something when they're talking about who depends on them not.
I'll take it. I sat there lying.
Well.
Well, I have to say, none of them picked me up yet. All those mornings that I went to town.
There you go.
If it wasn't for Dave, Jake, and Dave Brill, I would have picked up last time. The last time I was stuck. I got on the highway, I got behind some guy and put up 45 miles between. I could not get around him because of traffic. But I followed him because I told him he would move, go straight instead of in down, but he went in. So I followed him, still without an out and out. There was a highway patrolman coming from the other direction and stopped, and he turned to go into town, so he was following me and I'm following him. So we get where the city limits is, and there's one hill, and then there's flat. So I chose that point to go around it.
Yeah.
And I still never went over to him, even when I slowed down, and I hit the road. Got up the top of the hill, and back highway, got a flag going. So I pulled
I can
over.
turn it on once you're up there.
Vickett's
You
yard.
can't really beat the ice on the way
He
back
come
down.
Actually, I
I
go
said,
up and down backwards. I mean, I come down backwards.
I got out my driver's license.
I know,
I
you can't beat
I'm scared of falling.
said,
No way.
is there something I did?
You had magnets in your leg, you'd be
And
fine.
he said,
Did you see like,
well, I just couldn't
like
figure out
Jill's the next
why
one
you
over?
waited till you got that close to
big
town.
bins? The roof looks
Pass
like it's
that
got snow
pickup.
Snow on it.
from
I
that
said,
big
did I
cold
cross
front.
the yellow line? No. I said, was there traffic coming? No. I said, well, what's the problem? And he says, well, I just wondered why you thought it turned, why couldn't you, I said, okay, I said, I followed the guy for 45 miles, it's all over.
Hi, guys.
the highway." I just, and he said, okay, let me know.
Sure.
Thank you for reminding us.
So yeah, I jotted a few things down this morning. Guys, when she gets back here, I'll try and get back on the schedule where I actually have something written.
Yeah, we're back. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Written report for you guys. Phase 4 is now complete at the health department. You guys get a chance, very happy with the way that went. I don't know if, John, you've been in and out, you've
I've been
kept
in and out several times.
some there.
I've been since the project.
Yeah, so I feel really good about it being more efficient now with that floor in there, and hopefully we don't have any issues, hopefully we can clear that, but if not, we're prepared for it anyway.
That floor turned out nice.
I think it's a good commercial floor,
I saw you.
for the long term. We have buildings that we know we're gonna have for a while.
Yeah.
type thing. The Conroy, the train station building, Aaron's got buses in there, we still have a hard time getting overhead door people, that's part of, Josh Simmons' quote, so I called him again this morning. The electric's done, other than they just need to pinch it on at the REA, and I'm kinda glad we did that, because I was there and met Michael Reed, he's the guy that got the quote on that. Anyway, on one of the legs going into the REA, there's just one strand of wire left going in there, the rest are broke off. So he's gonna redo that while he'll have to pull one or two down in that panel, looks like a short distance, so, shouldn't be a big thing there as far as an extra. I told him to go ahead and do that. Finally, think we got down to the bottom of the LEC. I don't know if Ray, if you've been, you guys are over in the sheriff's office, that's been an issue here ongoing with coffee. So it ended up, it wasn't the flashing. The way that building is structurally built is it has the pre-stressed concrete panels,
Right.
and there's joints that have like a nylon rope, and then they're caulked. And this gal from the Black Hawk Roof Company, which I was actually hoping it was a roof because we have warranty there, but it's actually between those panels. And the reason we found out is we had the first leak of the interior, and so where the gymnasium is, that has the same concrete that comes by the existing roof, and right where one of those cracks was is where the leak was. So then we got to going around, and most everywhere there was a leak, and it can travel a little bit. Then you can take your hand, you can see little cracks, but you can just take your hand and push right through
What
there.
Jeff said you could.
Yeah, so very glad. So I'm pushing hard. I met with Jeff and Chris yesterday, and I was over there this work this morning, but working hard. We would try to get that done here yet. I don't know what the temperature has to be. It's like a 2-part epoxy. They're interested in giving us a quote. They did us some good by coming out here, Black Hawk Roof. And then Dale DeMilder from Garling had a company out of Marion that specifically does that, seals joints and repairs. So I'll try and get some quotes for you guys for that, and see if we can get any kind of guarantees or whatever. I don't know, maybe they don't want something like
See if
that.
we get it done quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big thing, but it's just those stains. I think Ray, you've probably seen them over there, those lines, so. I've been working hard with the Geo, specifically early this week. I knew it was gonna get cold. A few changes that need to be done on the programming on my side of it, just for the heating season. The temperatures, specifically, are quite a bit different in winter. And so try to get that off. I only had one phone call, but it was cool. So I try to get that ahead of time before the ladies get here. Ben Tim is over today at the East Road Department site here in Marengo. There's 14 4-bulb fixtures in there. There's a bunch of them out, some ballast. So I'm just having him switch those to LED conversion sockets and bulbs while we're at it, to save us electricity, and there was gonna be quite a few fluorescent bulbs, so he's working on that as we speak. I don't know if you guys see Larry Pfizer is over here at the courthouse. He's gonna extend that handicap sidewalk over there. That's always in the winter time specifically, it seemed like there was never enough room, especially at the top on that corner, and it was hard to get in there for snow removal, and I just think it'll be nicer and better.
Let's put something under that,
As far as,
where the void is.
yes, yep. I dumped some sand, I had some sandbags I put in there, and then he brought some more sand and compacted it. And so, I don't know if he's poured it yet, but he did a good job. I mean, they drilled the rod into the existing sidewalk, and so that is probably, he's got some other projects to do for us, but with the weather, you don't think he'll get to any of the other ones, so. That was the one that I guess I wanted to get done first.
Yeah.
The LEC inspection went well. I never heard anything that needs to be done.
Yeah.
That's
We
good.
had
Did
talked
you hear
about
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was good, good.
Oh, good. I never, see, I don't get those.
Yeah.
So there was nothing wrong.
Nothing to do with you at all.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Usually I have to find something to prove the point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm never concerned because a Department of Corrections person came up to jail inspector.
I see. So yeah, we continue to put LED retrofits in the cells as we're going, you know, in the ballast bad cell. And the last time, I told Jeff my only concern was that it might be too bright, but I guess there's no limit to that. It's just, it's gotta be at least this bright. So,
Is the LED lights an ongoing thing you're doing that, you know, all buildings and sites?
Yeah, I try-
As you're able to.
yeah, as I'm able to, like on these fluorescents, if there's a ballast pad specifically, because they're expensive, I feel that's the time to do it.
And that would be quite a cost savings too in the long run. Probably.
Yeah, yeah, it's, you know, a good example of that, a 9-watt LED bulb, now, a 7-watt LED bulb, I think, is the same as a 60-watt incandescent. So, you're saving that much, you know, usage. You know, once again, on the buildings that we know we're gonna have, I think it's a good investment. Oh, there's a new camera location. Ray will probably see that in Holding. I was over there this morning. That's what I did with Chris over there this morning. We drove the whole counter and on the camera and move some things around there. This morning, getting ready for snow removal, salt, trying to get the warehouse organized now that all the furniture's out of there from all of the phases at the health department. Got REA inspection coming up on November 18th and 20th. I told Janine to work on a list for me there on that. I'm planning to do some things, and this is kind of, I think, she has talked to some of you. You know, Sherry Luck, she's kind of getting crammed with what she's got going on there. I don't know, I've been thinking about it. You know, when I told her this winter, we'll try and get her some more workspace, and maybe I'll get with her and you guys and see where we think a good fit would be. You know, I know she works closely with the health department people, and Josh is content, and he's set up down there. You know, an option would be maybe we could put a office, you know, on the end attached to the health department, you know, small area. They feel like I've talked to both Amy and Trista, and they just feel like they can't squeeze it in. I mean, I hadn't even thought about having her come down there where I'm at, but there's just not enough room for what she does and needs. So I'll do some more thinking, but in the meantime, I might build her, we might build her just a, Scott built that for Michelle, it's just a 2x4s, a countertop, she doesn't need any drawers or anything. She needs just a little more, countertop space. But she is really outgrowing that, she's looking for another file cabinet, but that's something I'll talk with her about, maybe if you guys wanna think about it too, if we can think about it.
Are you able to get her a cabinet at Rockwell?
Yeah, she wants a horizontal, but that's, she don't want those long, because it's hard, in her room's so small, they come out the room, so.
She wants those long.
Yeah.
They had some of those. Last time they had some.
They did?
Yeah.
I told Dave to call me when he got in, you sure those weren't, they might have been, some of that's,
You know,
right in the front part?
You thought I didn't notice, huh?
Oh, dang it, don't call Dave again, yeah, she's in
It's
dire
not
need.
one time, yeah, because I don't want, the people who I was looking for, they didn't want that style, they wanted the regular style.
I must have been preoccupied getting something else.
You never told me.
Well, Dave knows it, he's supposed to be calling me. All right. No worries. Okay, so yeah, Shane Stahl, did pass all his testing, the drug testing and the E3, all of those things, so, he's good to go. Thank you for catching that, Kevin, I did remember on that, for some reason I had it in my head on the wage, so.
I just knew it was.
Thanks for the call, yeah.
I knew it was an odd number, that's what threw me off.
I know, I'm glad, because whatever it was, that's what I told Shane, you know. And I knew it was in the minutes that she had it in there, so. I did get one of those big dry erase boards that open up, like Rob has, and yeah, you guys are down there, so I got it full of stuff, getting organized for Shane. Julie's got one part of it with the doors where, she's already got one thing on there, some flies that need to be taken out, light fixtures in the small courtroom, so, just need to get better organized, you know, to to make sure we have everything up there, that way if Shane comes, and for some reason I'm not right there, we've got a list of things to do. And it helps me to, right now I have, multiple notes and stuff. And so we'll all be on one board then, as I get them, I'm just gonna put them up there and erase them as we get done. I took a picture of it with my phone, and I couldn't get it emailed to myself, I was gonna send it to you guys. That way, so yeah. I may need to get him, a toolbox and some hand tools to put in the van. I'm sure you guys are okay with that. I was just planning to get them here in Swifties, here in town, someplace local, that way. That'll mostly be the smaller stuff, sledgehammer, chainsaw.
Fine tuning things.
No, yeah, mostly hand tools and stuff, and then he'll have something to put them around. And thank you for that, I appreciate you guys allowing that to happen. That's really gonna help, I think it's a good thing. Other than that, I didn't have anything real.
I forwarded you the jail inspections, you can read it. but-
Okay, all right, thanks.
There was nothing about the building at all, was there, that I saw? The only thing was there a staffing question or something?
Yeah.
There was one staffing question. Which we
Assuming
didn't.
you're not gonna stab Dale Spears.
No.
Yeah,
No.
was it actually a big round bale spear?
Well, yeah, it has the big spear, and then it has the two little ones. And it was dark, it was at my brother's house, I used my loader tractor to help him move. He had some of those, bunks that you put a garden in by his garage, and they were leaning, and they were starting to sink and getting the siding, so I took the load over there and pulled them away, and I went back in there. It was just getting dusk, but there's no lights in the corn crib, so you put the tractor and you close over the doors, and you gotta go through the corn crib to go out the side door. And I tripped on the blade on the tractor, which I thought was around it, and then I hit something else, because there's a lot of stuff in there. If it was light, I could have avoided it, but yeah, I had no idea where I was falling, and I fell right on it. I mean, I had to pull my leg.
Yeah, they don't recommend that.
Yeah.
So, and you can wire, right?
Yeah. Talk to my brother. Guess who disconnected the overhead wire of the corn crib?
Yeah, your electrician brother.
Now it's his fault.
Yeah, he didn't want to have to-
Electricians in there.
Yeah, 'cause he doesn't use the corn crib, so. That way he didn't have to deal with that wire.
How
or
deep did
something.
you go in?
Well, I think you get in one of those hats that has the little lights on it,
Or a lot of people use their cell phones as a flashlight.
Awkward.
Hey, one thing I was gonna mention, and you mentioned this to me, and I like it, I like this idea about doing a sealed bid thing. So my question to you is, should I just have it due on the Friday that we're gonna look at them, send them to the auditor's office, put attention board, and Scott, how you wanna handle that?
Auditor's office, I think.
Yeah, I'll just have it sent here, just the auditor's office.
Yeah.
Attention board or whatever.
Put sealed bid on the front of
Yeah,
it,
sealed bid in front.
and then we can just open them up here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Takes the,
that takes the heat off of
right.
all of us.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. All right. Anything you guys have?
I mean, for you.
When something comes up.
Told you, I talked to Julie the other day.
Yeah,
I've been impressed with the cleanliness of this building recently. so.
she's doing really well. Doing really well. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Thank you, guys.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Now, when I was telling him about that highway patrolman, I said, "Yep, you didn't get that answer."
No, that
I
was
hope I wasn't talking that loud. He let me know anyway, because it was just a big jump in the first place. I didn't do it.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.